like to call to order the Beaver County Board of Commissioners work session for Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. Review of work session discussion meeting minutes.
They're good to me.
No changes, questions? All right, we'll move to department head report. Dan, you look like you have a tablet there.
Yeah, well, that's for other things. Good morning. I'm not here to ask for money.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of all.
January 1.
We put in the last couple of years for summer help, 3 employees that are budgeted at $12 an hour for 12 weeks. I'd like to start pursuing that. These positions are still open in our report. They're still available. The way it's been handled in the past is obviously the commissioners, they have the opportunity to make a recommendation of someone. If they know someone that's not, it goes out to the employees throughout the county. If they have someone that they're oriented, then we go outside of Beaver County. With that being said, my plan is obviously we're in the flooring project has started. We are pulling people from other locations to work on this. My plan is to have the summer helpers work here this summer to help with
movement of furniture.
The project.
I'm okay. I'm okay with putting it out to the employees. I mean,
Yeah,
I
me
don't-
too. Unless Mr. Woolley's interested. Mr.
Volunteer
Woolley,
basis.
you know, he's-
I'm ready too.
This is now college, high school students as well. Can it be as
Well,
long as you're 16 or I mean, are they going to be?
18, 16.
What's the age? I guess.
Well, we got a jam last year, and in the past we like to do college students.
Okay.
18 or older, but we didn't have enough employees, so we did have a couple that were seniors in high school.
They work out okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to be driving the vehicles.
Especially if they're in the building all day.
Right.
Okay.
So if you don't have anything, I'll get with one of the ladies and ask if they can send an
Email.
email out to the employees.
Yeah, I'll defer to you guys.
Thank you.
Update on flooring.
Update on flooring.
We-
It's a learning curve, a learning experience. I was expecting a lot of hectic craziness, moving parts. The Monday, Tuesday night, this will be our third night. We had a crew in to move all the furniture out of the public defender's office during the daylight hours of Monday. They're sending a 2-man crew, so we haven't moved any. There's not a need to move any furniture yesterday or today, so they're doing other things. I'm going to talk with the contractor and see. We're on the 4 to 12 shift. That's when they're coming in to do the work. These offices are sitting empty all day long. So I'm going to talk with David DeLuco and see if is there really a need to have this work done. Obviously, when we get to the courts, because there's a noise concern if there's a court proceeding going on in one courtroom, they want to hear the noise. So I think we might have to do the courts on the 4 to 12. But I don't know that it's necessary to do this 4 to 12 shift. These offices are sitting empty all day long.
Most of the noise I've heard really has been on the steps.
Yeah.
Not on, and the steps look great, by the way.
Yeah.
Doing a great job with that.
Obviously, the board knows, but it's probably going to be brought to our attention here soon about the leak. There's a leak in the basement on the election office storage room, which may be affecting some landscaping out here, correct?
Yeah, if you go down and you look in that room, there's actually a pipe that comes down into the corner and it runs right out to this box here, this service box here. And it's leaking between the box and the building, and it's causing the water to go. It's controlled. We shut the valve off. There's no water running now. It'll dry up. But obviously we'll have to get crews in here. I believe it's something we can handle in house, but it's probably going to affect that tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the tree might even be the culprit where roots grew and it broke the line. But it's going to affect that tree and maybe some shrubs. So we'll have a decision to make. I know we don't like to just cut trees down or anything like that. We don't have to, but we're going to have no tree here and a big tree there. And we want to take the boat down and maybe plant something smaller that doesn't get as big, a decorative tree or something like that.
I was wondering if that you're pretty sure it's all related to that, because with the other concrete work and some of these other drainage things that are clogged up, and not knowing exactly where that water runs, I didn't know if any of it was getting channeled into the corners of the building.
We know it was a break because whenever you walk in the building, you can hear the water running.
Okay.
Hear that water running.
You don't think about that water going to cement.
I know we have issues down by Wayne's area and the
He says he's
Logan
gonna drive by the
dock
side.
area with water channeling down there. as well, so hopefully we're not- Don't have too much basement level damage occurring elsewhere, that's all. I'm just making sure. I understand. Glad we found that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure we would have found it if we weren't,
It's a good thing
if we weren't replacing,
before the flooring went down.
right, because they moved those shells out and saw the damage stuff.
That's all I have, thank you,
Thanks. Executive session for personnel.
please.
No reason to reconvene.
For me.
Okay.
And just one other question, was there much storm damage
Yeah,
at Brush Creek or Brady's Run?
Just a couple,
trees. I
couple
was-
trees,
Okay.
couple trees, but nothing that interfered with the operations. The
Okay.
walking trails weren't blocked down, and weren't out of service or anything like that. Obviously, with the foreign budget, we have a couple people working the afternoon shift, and there was, so we have them out here yesterday.
A lot of branches down, but no big damage at any of the three parts.
Any shingles or anything issues with the
Magistrates or
magistrates at our other buildings? I know we have flat roofs here, but no. Okay. All right. Any other department head? Tony?
Just real quick, Saturday is the first day of trout fishing at Brady's Run Park, and I just want to make you guys aware of the rules for camping. Camping is allowed starting at 3 p.m. on Friday, and they are allowed to have the campsites until 12 noon on Sunday. I've notified the sheriff's office of these hours so that they've been super helpful with regulating that, and if anyone were to come early, but we're excited. And if Dan's crew is all ready for a cleanup for a few days after, but everything's in place and ready to go for trout fishing.
Any other department head? Director Burke?
Couple
Sorry.
months.
Oh, just progress on the sign. I
The
saw
signs-
you guys tore down the old sign.
Before it blew
The
down.
company is working with Brighton Township right now for the permitting, and
Okay.
they've procured everything, so they're moving along quickly with that.
Okay. May get done
Yeah,
before
May-
maple
May.
syrup.
Make it.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
also had that done, and the pool agreement status with the YMCA. Is that,
So on this coming Tuesday, B&R Pools is coming for that inspection of our infrastructure, and with the anticipation of the pool agreement being on the next resolution without any major infrastructure issues that B&R Pools would say.
Any other questions for Tony? All right. Director Brewer?
A couple months ago, we had people digging in our yard.
Yeah.
Or testing or whatever. I guess what's the status of that? 'Cause they're just two big dirt piles there.
Oh, they just left them there.
Yeah,
Is there still a hole there?
the holes, they covered them up, but it's just piled up. I don't know. They were coming back.
So no, I don't believe they were coming back. That's whenever they were doing the testing. So is the hole, are the holes filled?
Holes are filled, but
There's still piles of dirt.
yeah.
Where's the dirt from? The holes are filled. Do you know? Did they fill it with something else? Maybe. I mean, I'd probably say DPW will have to pull that out.
I didn't know if they were coming back.
No,
They just- two big piles of dirt.
that was when Nardelli was testing. They were testing the ground, and then they hit the electric. Remember, they hit the electric line.
Yeah.
oh,
Part of the permit.
Yeah.
I'll take a ride down and take a look at that. I mean,
If it's just excess
is it
dirt.
possible that they have the dirt piled up where they dug it out and they're just like leaving it piled up to settle down?
But there's gonna be a lot of settling. I can see if it's,
Yeah.
but it's
not, okay.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they may have filled it with gravel or something first and put some topsoil on top and then just left that dirt there.
I'm sorry, who did this?
That would have been Mark. Well, I don't know
they
who
contracted.
they contracted. It was getting tested, but that would have been Nardelli. They were doing the permitting. This is a while
For the
back
building.
for the building.
For the building.
Yeah,
The new
That was
building.
right pre-Christmas.
it was pretty. It was yeah. It was, so
Look into it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any other department head report?
If I can get
Oh,
like 2 minutes
sorry.
afterwards.
Executive session. Okay, we have personnel or litigate personnel. Okay. Will we need to reconvene and litigation? Will we need to reconvene? No. All right, we'll move to the solicitor, Solicitor Morgan.
Just the executive session that Dan mentioned, we have that, nothing to report in the public session.
Okay.
If you have any questions.
Any questions for the solicitor? All right, Board of Commissioners.
Well, we took our weekly trip to Darlington. We met with the National Transportation Safety Secretary Hamidi.
Jennifer Hamidi.
And it was pretty enlightening. I was impressed.
She's
with her.
good. She's good.
Really-
I mean, I'm familiar with the National Transportation Safety Board. They're an independent group and that they're brilliant. They're excellent at recreating, understanding what happens with any transportation related accident. And I have complete confidence that they will eventually come up with a very good summary of report of everything that happened. The issue with the Transportation Safety Board is they make a lot of recommendations, but they have no authority to implement those recommendations. I reread the 2006 report of the train derailment in New Brighton and was looking at the recommendations they made back in 2006. And I went, I don't think they did that one. I don't think they did that one. And that's the problem. You know, a lot of these issues have been out there for the railroads and the airlines and any other traffic that goes across there. But they're going to do a good job. And she was very impressive. Had foot surgery, was laid up and just got released to travel and got on the plane and came right here. So
She gave us a lot of inside information, a lot of insight to the relief system and the caps and the pre-warnings and what they, like you said, what they recommended and what actually got done, and most of it didn't get done. And so they're on top of it. So
yeah, and I mean, there's
Very
issues
impressed.
issue with the cars, the type of cars, the age of those cars. I mean, there's a lot of contributing factors to when you have derailments and why you have leaks and have to do those extraordinary measures. So
and a lot of judgment calls that were made.
but they're going to be holding some more hearings East Palestine, and I think they'll also hold one in Darlington. Eric, I'm sure that you and the first responders will be somebody they want to hear from directly, because now they want to hear some firsthand. They did, as she called it, kind of the forensic testing on the scene, trying to gather as much information you can before the rains and the disturbances and the movement cars happen. Now they want to hear some more firsthand testimony of placards, the cars, the awareness of what's in those cars, the communications, and all those kinds of issues.
Because she was laid up so long, she had a plethora of information for us. It was just incredible.
Yeah, as Commissioner said, I had to leave a little bit early. She was running a little bit late, but you know, I was happy to see that she was this is her first trip. There's other incidents they're investigating across the United States, but she came here first, met with Commissioner Manning, Commissioner Amadeo first before she went to Ohio.
Right.
Yeah.
She's here till Thursday, so it's promising to see that they're still showing so much attention to it.
Absolutely.
That's all I have.
Well, in case anybody isn't aware of the reassessment, letters went out. They are all received. They'll have to get in line. I mean, the volumes, I just ask people to be patient. We anticipate, I mean, there's 88,000 parcels. That's a lot of parcels, a lot of letters, a lot of phone calls. I know Tyler, Dan, you've been talking to Josh and different people, and you as well, Nate. They're trying to answer calls. They're trying to get people scheduled just to hear the factual issues around, to make an appointment to hear the factual issues around their reassessment. So I just ask people to be patient. I think it's the 10-day.
That's not drop dead, though, I was told.
Right. The 10-day thing is not, you're not going to be held to that if you can't get a hold of them.
You'll get a meeting.
You'll have plenty of times to have your hearing in front of them. And again, ask people not to overreact. Think about the millage coming down and what those rates are. And I know we've published some information. Dan did a good job getting some information out on what the anticipated tentative assessment millage is going to be at the county level.
Tell that to my heart when I opened that package up.
No, I mean, we did get some calls and emails from some people that were very panicked, thinking their taxes were going up to $40,000 a year. Well, not gonna happen. You have to wait, do the math, and do the village.
I understood
Right
it, I
then,
still, like, had heart palpitation.
Yeah,
when I saw the figure.
Mine are going up, but I anticipated that mine would go
Mine are up, going up too.
So, but anyway, that's all. I just want
And
Make sure.
controller smiled when I said that.
We,
Mine was up 110%, so I mean,
110%.
110%
Oh,
my
jeez.
So I think I'd beat all of
Your actual tax bill or your millage?
My
Or your,
taxes will more than double.
your tax bill more than double?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Do you have a lot of property by chance?
she
That's
Oh.
what's,
acreage is
people are,
definitely,
the acreage is more than
Yeah.
what it used to be.
Yes.
and
so.
it is more, quite frankly, in line with, because so same with mine.
mean,
Well, I think it's more in line with market value than what.
I can't argue the market value.
What is your perceived tax rate?
3.5
Yeah.
mils.
0.00358.
So
At the current assessed.
at the current
Look.
assessed, tentative assessed value.
And
So-
that's with no increase
Need a
from us.
calculator?
Look, so,
Yeah.
you know, just rough math, right? 88,000 parcels, we're on the books at $2.2 billion, raising about $57.5 million. The new assessed level now, $1982 and all that stuff, Tyler's now having that around 16 billion. We're still only going to collect $57.5 million of taxes, right? So that millage goes from 26, estimated now to about 3.5857, if you want to go out 4 digits. So,
578.
but if those assessed, if that assessed value dips significantly under 16 million, that number will rise, right? A little bit, theoretically. But we don't anticipate it coming down enough that it's going to, jump us into double digits all of a sudden. That's not going to happen. And again, we're on record, we're not raising county taxes. We have we could go up 10%. We could get raised probably 60 million in tax revenue by the way this thing works, but we're not interested in doing that. There's no need to do that at this point. So
Schools and municipalities, that will be the big question for
as
everyone.
always.
They'll have to take, the county will, as you know, Dave, the county will set, as Commissioner Mann says, set that tentative value for the municipalities and schools, what their millage rate will be, but then they will have to take a separate, Nate, correct me if I'm wrong, take two votes. One to accept the tentative, one to accept the values, and a second vote to raise it, so which will virtually be a tax increase. So they will have to still take a vote for it.
If they choose
And be
that.
on record if they want to
Yeah.
raise up to the 10% that
They're allowed.
permitted to.
So.
The only other thing for me is the Vietnam vets, chapter 862 are finishing up their 24-hour vigil there. March 29th is Vietnam Veterans Memorial Day. I heard yesterday with talking to some guys that Vietnam traveling wall is coming around. There's about 58,000 names on that wall, 73 from Beaver County. But they were pleased. They now have photos for every one of those 58,000 folks that are on that wall. So just want to remind everybody of that event and the great work that chapter does. I believe it's the largest east of the Mississippi. I mean, it's a great group. This Beaver County has done more than its fair share of protecting our freedoms and serving our country over the years. And that's a great group of guys over there. So if you get a chance, walk by and thank them for everything. So that's it.
All right, we'll move to other business. Miss Applegate is on the agenda.
I'm on the agenda. Last fall, Jim and I approached you about hiring an architectural firm to oversee the restoration of the fort. And we have received 2 proposals. And I think you were given those yesterday or you received them in email. The New York firm is almost twice the amount.
He's not allowed to be here.
Pittsburgh
No,
firm.
he's done. Okay.
So I don't know, I was impressed with both firms.
was a
I
bit-
think the New York firm have a little bit more experience, but most of the responsibility will fall under the Canonsburg, the local rep in Canonsburg. And when he came to look at the land change, he did say much of anything. So I kind of had a
Okay.
question about his knowledge. But the Pittsburgh firm seems quite capable.
Well, I mean, there's a pretty good difference between the total values there. I'm also very familiar with Sean Darrington. He's done a lot of work for the county, a lot of EPA cleanup work. I mean, he has multiple factions there. His landmark company as well, some of the downtown work I've done.
The landmark one also worked on a building that was, it's not an old economy building, it's a historic building. And I checked with Michael Smith, who worked with this.
That's where I was familiar with all the common stuff. So, I mean, to me, it's, I would go with Landmarks SGA.
There's a substantial difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Commissioner Manning has a difference.
42.8 versus
81.
81,000. That's, and I trust they'll do the work we need. So it's kind of a no-brainer with me. Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I'm also speculating that we're gonna get a DCED grant through Representative Matthews' office.
Okay.
I did the e-signature last week, so, but I have not officially heard that we received everything that we asked for.
We'll have to reach out to Commissioner Boyd.
Yeah,
DCED.
yes. For
Commissioner
sure.
Boyd in
Yeah.
Lawrence County now works for DCED,
Okay.
who we had good relationships with.
Yeah.
Maybe we could reach out to him. He just started under the Governor Shapiro administration.
Yeah.
As
There seems to be a
senior advisor,
Yeah.
I think.
seems to be a boatload of grant money now. I mean, like, I don't know what's happening, but there's a lot. I mean, I think the state's sitting on an awful lot of ARPA funds that they haven't distributed,
Forgot about that.
billions actually.
I don't
And now
remember.
maybe they're starting to get some new administration change to get some of that. So hopefully that'll come through for you guys.
So just to be clear, three commissioners said you're okay with this. So the next step would be to
Prepare a
submit
resolution.
resolution
Yep.
to enter into an agreement with this article.
Landmarks SGA.
Make it so.
Never
Make
like-
it so.
Never like seeing Eric Brewer get up and hear sirens outside.
Uh-oh.
So, thank you. That's, all right. We'll move to audience participation. Audience participation. Anyone in the audience?
Anything,
Yes.
Xavier?
Yes. Yeah. Just,
I
no, you don't need to stand.
my name is Xavier Smith. I am part of the organizing party for Beaver County Juneteenth Festival. So we submitted a application for a proclamation. And I also sent over a sponsorship packet. I just wanted to take the opportunity to speak a little bit more about kind of what we imagine with the Beaver County Juneteenth Festival. So we are looking to hold the first one in Lefty Sequel Field, which is where the first Juneteenth festivals ever happened in Beaver County in 2020 and 2021. But we are adding more members to the organizing party so that we can find a way to change locations each year. What we aim to do is highlight Black-led organizations and Black-owned companies in Beaver County and provide them with an entrepreneurial spotlight. So some of those things are going to include promotional videos for these small businesses. And hopefully not this year, but down the road, we will have programming that will allow them to better understand how to operate as a small business. So just wanted to bring that to you all's attention.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the proclamation, I think, is already written.
Right.
We'll approve that next month, prior to June. start.
Thank you. Any other audience participation? Mr. Woolley?
A quick one. About a month ago, we had people appearing in here for a lack of content in some of the contracts, and you took them in there to talk with them. Is that all set now? We're not gonna have any.
I missed the
more
question. I'm sorry.
hearings.
Distracted. I'm sorry.
Uh,
What was the question?
It was related to Mr. Aiken's questions at work session, wasn't, or not?
Mr.
including, I'm sorry.
Mr. Green, Curtis
Yeah.
Green. Yeah, we're still working through that. Well, but, the law department is going to be working with their organization to get those vendors, subcontractors list to the people who can bid on the projects. And then we're working on some other avenues of making sure that everyone's included to that bidding list.
Yeah, especially through community development and HUD money that comes in. Again, we don't award contracts. Very, very rarely do we give the money to somebody else who hires the contractor to do the work. So I think he understands that process better now. So
Thank you.
I do have a question for the cameras and the license plate readers for the parks.
I'm meeting with Tony, right after this
Okay.
meeting, go through the vendor is coming to the meeting at 11 o'clock upstairs.
Good.
We'll go through and figure out internet connection. We had to drop poles.
Yeah, I knew, especially at Rush Creek, I know it was challenging.
And then the other issue is gonna be, I think, the button
Yeah.
poles. Our presumption was you're gonna put a pole on the river side of the road. We could catch a full view of the entrance and do an internet connection down to Austin. With
Okay.
what's going on with the turnpike interchange, we have to rethink where the pole goes.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. That's
So they have-
disturbed.
Yeah, so, but we're meeting with
Okay.
John, the vendor, right after this meeting.
Okay. Yeah, that's good, because I still think it's important that we do that, given some of the issues that we've had. So, just one other thing, one of our colleagues in Westmoreland, Sean
Mhm.
Curtis, county commissioner's wife, passed away suddenly, 36 years old, Ashley. And just our condolences to Sean and the people of Westmoreland. It was a sad thing to see the obituary come through on that.
Very nice family.
Any other? We will move into executive session, not reconvene. Dave, can we see you real quick? Well, I didn't know. I didn't-
Librarian.
I didn't know if Eric said anything else to you. Hold on one second.
Oh, yeah. County